This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace.
Hello, good morning, and welcome back to another episode of Saturday Morning Mysteries, where we are your hosts. I'm Grace.
And I'm Alexis.
And we are back with our second episode of TaleSpin. Whoa-wee-oh, TaleSpin.
Whoa-wee-oh.
Whoa-wee-oh. And it's Alexis' episode, and she'll be taking us through another, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, it's not groovy. It's danceable. I don't even know what words to use to describe the bop that this theme song is. It's infectious.
It is danceable. It is. It is infectious. You feel it in your veins, and then it just
in your bones.
TaleSpin. Yeah, which actually is how it ends. Like the very last, right before the episode actually starts, they all together do like one big TaleSpin. So
that's us. That's us now.
Classic. That is us. Yeah, we recorded it for Disney. They were very kind.
A dream. So yes, it's Alexis' episode. This will be her first TaleSpin episode, our second in the arc. And I'll just let you take it away. Fly us to the moon or wherever we go.
To Cape Suzette, which I will say as a preliminary matter here, I will often, and I even almost did it in last week's episode, I will often pause when I'm saying Cape Suzette so that I do not say crepe Suzette.
Oh, which is another thing it was based
the French food that the name of this place is based on. Even as I was typing, the writers, that again, like, lazy. Someone was like, what did you have for breakfast today? What did you have for breakfast today? You see the waiter like flambeing it at the writer's room table. They bring in an actual like
Disney's
waiter
got
to
that
do
money,
it.
you know?
Honestly, I would not put it past them, especially in the 90s. That was like the golden era, or the heyday at least, of Disney.
Yes.
So I will constantly probably pause before saying Cape Suzette. And even as typing my script, there were a few times where I had to go back and be like, oh shit, I put crepe Suzette the last 3 times that I typed this down. My mind's always on food. I'm a foodie. What can I say? True. So anyways.
Shameless plug at Food for a Bird.
Food for a Bird. Yes, again. I need to make more videos. This would be a good time to make crepe Suzettes.
Oh my God, you have to.
I could do cross-posting with Satmore and Mist specifically for this theme. All right, put a pin in that, everybody.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, be on the lookout because I might be making some crepes soon. Anyway,
Frick yeah.
All of that is to say that today's episode, it's not as delicious and fun and appealing as crepe Suzettes are.
Dang.
Coming off of that high energy, boppable theme song, TaleSpin, TaleSpin. We are actually going to have what I consider, and again, as another preliminary warning or a trigger warning, actually, to you, Grace, specifically, but also to everyone listening, the entire audience. Yeah, today's episode, it's a tough one, and it's going to get a bit emotional at times, perhaps for us, because it unfortunately discusses a whole lot of animal cruelty and abuse. Yeah, today's episode is like an OG Satmore and Mist type of scenario that we've got going on here. I know, we said that this show is a lot more on the adventure side of things, but nope, we're talking about full-on crimes today and the dangers of big business and capitalism, which carries over directly from this episode. Yes.
Wow.
So today's episode in conquering some fears here today too, Grace, because today's episode from season 1, episode 17, it is called All's Whale That Ends Whale.
I should get my whale mug. That's what I was drinking coffee out of.
You should. And I thought that I thought that when you showed it earlier and like just when we were recording the last episode, I noticed you were using that mug and I was like, oh, I spy a blue whale mug in my mind. And I was like, I'll wait until I do my episode because we're talking about the blue whale today.
Nope, it's downstairs.
But we'll get there. We'll get there in a minute. I need to build up my mental fortitude to talk about what you all know if you're familiar with this podcast, my mortal nemesis. If you're new to this podcast, I am mortally afraid of whales, have been my entire life.
4 days ago, I sent Alexis like two or three videos of whales breaching onto boats and people because I'm on the opposite spectrum. I fucking love whales. They are one of my favorite animals of
Yeah.
all time. I just consume
Yeah.
whale content and then I send Alexis the scary ones
Yeah.
to
And
reinforce
they
her
mocked
fear.
me. They mocked me. Grace, I've seen videos of like teenage women out surfing and getting swallowed whole by whales. Okay. This is nothing to mock. These creatures, they're dangerous. All right. They are beautiful. I give them that. They're majestic. They're beautiful, but they're just too goddamn big for my personal preference. But it doesn't matter. I don't want to see them harmed or injured because they are nature's beauties.
Mhm.
So, anyways, we'll jump into today's episode. I
We'll
guess
dive
actually
in.
one last we will dive into the whale tank. The one other thing I will say is that this is probably the first time in podcast history that I'm not just doing like the next
Oh
episode
yeah.
after your episode, because I wanted to actually, I'm in a slightly different mindset for this show, for TaleSpin. I wanted
Oh,
to see a variety of villains and introduce a lot of other villains. And a lot of the
mm,
episodes that I'll be doing have one-offs that we only see in the one episode that I'm
great.
doing. And then, yeah, so I know you did Don Carnage last week. The episode after the episode you did also has Don Carnage. And so I started to do it and I was like, no, let me do a different one
Yeah.
because Grace is talking about Don Carnage or you already introduced him. So sue me for not doing the usual thing,
Nah,
skipping the
yeah. I've
formula, but
already
no
ruined
rules.
the pattern that we usually do with
That's
my first
true.
one. So
Yeah.
no rules.
This show has got us just changing our ways. We're growing, we're evolving.
Exactly.
So today we're going to talk about what I would like to call the shocking crimes at Seymour's Seymour Seaquarium. Who is
Mouthful.
Seymour? It is a mouthful. Hopefully, I don't have to say that too many more times this episode. So, who is Seymour? Seymour, he's going to be our villain for the day. And he is an infamous figure in Cape Suzette. Everyone already knows him. Everyone knows his seaquarium. He is, of course, the owner of this aquarium slash theme park. And like Don Carnage, he is a red wolf.
Wow.
And
Writers.
coincidentally, yeah, perhaps it's lazy, but perhaps it's intentional. We'll see.
Ooh.
Because not only is he a red wolf, but he also bears pretty much a striking resemblance to Don Carnage. He looks exactly the same, just in my opinion, a little thinner and a little shorter. But put a
Okay.
pin in that for just a moment.
Interesting.
Seymour Seymour exudes sleaziness and sliminess. He
Oh.
is the used car salesman.
Oh
Sorry to all the used
no.
car salesmen that we have listening to this podcast, but he is constantly talking out of both sides of his mouth. He's always looking for ways to take advantage of folks, and he is greedy as all hell. He takes
Man.
every opportunity to cut corners, both in business and in life, if it means
Mm.
that it can save him even a penny. So, obviously, characteristics like that. What would you think Seymour's primary goal is in life? Grace, a penny
And
pincher?
I'm going to assume it's
Yeah.
not to take care of sea creatures so they have a beautiful habitable aquarium and
Mm-hmm.
upholding scientific study, which should be the point of having
Mm-hmm.
animals in any type of enclosure, is to,
Preservation,
yes,
etc.
conservation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, making
No.
things great for the animals, um,
Yeah. No,
upholding those values.
that's on his list of nerd shit. Seymour Seymour, his primary goal in life is making money and gaining profits. He is obsessed with riches and wealth. And
Mhm.
as you alluded, this leads him to be very abusive and neglecting of literally every single animal in his care at the seaquarium.
No.
And he's even proven that he is willing to go as far as murder to get what he wants, AKA to make some money and to gain some
Oh
profits.
no.
So when Seymour, this red wolf, when he's tending to his day-to-day business, going out in the city and Cape Suzette, meeting with folks or just, going about his day, he's typically wearing a khaki suit with a white shirt, a blue tie, and like a tan, really big, like rancher hat, like you imagine someone like
Oh.
for some reason to me, it seems like Jurassic Park style. Someone walking the fields of the park,
Yes.
take the hat off, fan off, put it back.
Yeah.
That's Seymour. Yeah.
Got it.
And
Got it. Got it.
so yeah, he clearly has money and he clearly he's trying to look like this big, powerful guy.
Uh-huh.
But when he's performing his shows with sea animals at the Seaquarium, he wears a blue sea captain suit. Of course, with all of the gold frills and buttons and a nice big blue captain's hat to match.
Uh-huh.
So,
A la Captain Crunch situation, like
a
that
la
type of
Captain
captain's hat.
Crunch.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Well,
I
no,
was
no,
like,
sorry.
describe
The
hat.
suit is no. It's like a regular sailor's hat, not a
Oh,
yeah. I
okay.
wish
That's why I
that would be
asked.
amazing. Yeah, I'm glad you did. No. The jacket and stuff is the Captain Crunch fit, with the frills and
Okay.
maybe like the little shoulder things, but it's a regular sailor's
Okay.
cap. Yeah,
Got it. Got
like
it.
with the brim, not the like
He did not
pointed one,
commit to
but the
the bit.
just. No, not quite. No. He didn't go that far.
Hmm.
He's like, I have
He
to look a little
half-asses a
bit,
lot of things, I'm
so
sensing.
yes. Yeah. Yeah, the Captain Crunch one was a little too more expensive. He would have to spend 5 extra cents on
On a
that one. So
hat.
he was like, no, we'll just keep it simple, keep it cheap.
Downgrade, yeah.
So let's unpin that pin vis-a-vis Don Carnage.
Oh,
Because boy, oh
yes.
boy, Grace, I've got some wild fucking speculation for you, and we're just gonna come right out of the gate with it. Okay, we're
Let's
gonna
hear it.
speculate in the beginning from the jump. And I'm very happy that you covered Don Carnage last week and that you introduced him a little bit to us, how fabulous he is, how good
Yes.
he actually kind of is with the sword and generally with piracy and air piracy type stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna like add a little bit to Don's backstory and tie it
Yes.
into Seymour here. Because I theorize that these two, Don and Seymour, being some of the only red foxes that happen to appear in this show, to my knowledge, at least of the episodes I've seen so far and from what I've read, and both happening to be evil or being villains in this show,
Yes.
I theorize that they are either estranged brothers or perhaps and more likely distant cousins, like, first cousins, but still just not
Yes.
super close anymore. They don't talk, right?
Yes.
And so here's my theory about their upbringing and their backstory.
Ooh. Okay.
I think, and also this is based off of, I did a lot of the, like the wiki pages for like every fandom that's out there. There's some good ones for this show. So I did some digging and reading about like there's TaleSpin comics that are out there. There's other like made for TV movies that exist. So people just put information from all these things into one.
Cool.
So I was like, all right, I'm pulling some information from what is canon in TaleSpin here.
Yeah.
And we're creating our own theories. I believe that these two grew up in a family of air pirates. And it is confirmed that Don Carnage did have an uncle who was an air pirate that he is believed to have studied under in one of the comics, apparently.
That checks.
So while their fathers handled more of the business side, while Seymour's father was more on the business side of things, Don's father was more on like the piracy side of things and worked closer with the uncle who was the air pirate in question from the comics or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they saw the business side of air piracy, like nerdy or whatever, and they wanted to do the more. It doesn't, it sounds like that's the part that you're very legally liable for. I don't know, maybe none of it's fun, right? But the boys, they always,
it's fun.
They always wanted to be more like their seafaring uncle, out doing adventures, killing people, probably looting, all sorts of terrible, horrible things. The normal pirate stuff, right? And so these two, Don and Seymour, they equally vied to inherit his role, the uncle's role, in the pirate empire as captain. Exactly. Don, who you established last week, he's pretty good with weapons. He's a sailing expert. He appears to maybe be a former military man, other than the flamboyantness, like how like fabulous he is and like how brat he is, as we discovered. Like that doesn't
which
quite
also
seem
R.I.P. Brat. I think it did die, and I love that we're mentioning it after the fact, and I'm here.
We are, yeah. It's back. Maybe we're bringing it back again. But,
Don Carter's bringing it back.
Yeah, but I think that he, maybe went on to join the Navy, the Marines or something. He learned a lot about weapons and sailing and how to actually, come up with military strategy, etc. Yes. So he took on that more of that side of the knowledge of piracy, and thus he seemed to be the favorite in this race for the
Makes sense.
inheritance of the captainship, if you will. But Seymour, being more, his father being more on the business side, he kind of inherited the clever, cunning businessman skills
Mm.
and being able to move money around, and also has talent as a fraudster. And of
Ah,
course, in the world of piracy and black market dealing, this
that's
also
pretty
is an
important.
appealing skill set exactly of
Yeah.
its own. So this was a pretty stiff competition between these two cousins to take over. But in the end, although Seymour was constantly showing his intellect and how cunning he was to his uncle, he proved to be a little too greedy and untrustworthy to take the
Ooh.
role as heir pirate king, is what I guess I'll call it.
Uh-huh.
After all, it is kind of hard, even for a pirate in the world of piracy, it's kind of hard to keep a loyal workforce if they think you're always just going to take all the loot for yourself and not spread the
Yeah.
wealth around a little bit.
Yeah.
So Don Carnage ended up taking the mantle of heir pirate king from their uncle, which is why he today is an heir
Mm.
pirate. I was going to say air pilot.
Told you it's hard.
Again, it is hard. Common mistakes that will probably be made through this arc. And so while Don took that mantle, Seymour,
Mm.
upset about failing his family and being seen as a failure himself, he ran away and began his own life,
Ooh.
trading weapons and exotic sea animals that were found and discovered during his piracy days. And
Ooh,
with the connections that
interesting.
he made during those days, he traded those things on the black market after leaving his family. And the
Ooh.
earnings, I theorize, from this black market trading and the respect that he gained among the underworld criminal community
Mm.
accumulated just enough for him to be able to purchase and run his own booming and bustling amusement park, which he
Mm.
then named Seymour's Seaquarium. Because you got to wash that money somehow, right? And if you're going
Yeah.
to be trading exotic animals, you might as well wash it in like the most straightforward way, which is an aquarium or
Right
like
under their noses.
something. It's not like SeaWorld, but something like
One step removed.
SeaWorld. Anyway, so
SeaWorld. I like that. I like too to think that like
mm,
he was able to kind of start up this side hustle because he still had like the Carnage name. And so he
yeah,
like kind of played that for a little bit, like, oh, you guys are familiar with my father, right? Like the greatest
yes.
tax
And
evader
my
for the
uncle and my
pirates.
other uncle,
Yeah.
exactly. It's a
Like we're
long line.
known
Yeah.
kind of thing. But then, like they'd be like, all right, could you handle this sword? And immediately like slices his hand. And they were like, all right, get the fuck out. Yeah, you're not
It's
with
like
the
a paper
family.
cut, and he's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I'm gonna die. I'm
Help,
gonna
help, help, I'm
die.
gonna pass out. I'm gonna pass out. I got to sit down. I got to sit down.
Literally.
Yeah,
But
that
also,
like
meanwhile, also like lying through his teeth and like taking other people's shit all the time because he's fucking greedy and like a con
exactly.
man. So it's like, not only is he a wimp, he's just an asshole. We can't work
Yeah.
with this guy.
Right. And that's why like
Yeah.
the family was like, get out. And then yeah, for a while he like used the family last name to just build up
Yeah.
enough like
Until he could do his
credit
own thing.
type of thing. And then yeah, went off and
Yeah.
did his own thing. Slash, I'm sure the family was like, if you keep using our name, we will end you. And so he was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll
Bye. I'll take it
I'll just
off.
go by Seymour.
And literally everywhere I looked, this guy has no last name. Like nowhere on the internet
He got
says he
told
has
to
a
drop
last name.
it.
So literally exactly what you just said. I think that he's
Yep.
like, okay, I'm removing the Carnage family from my name now. Like I am my own man. And they also said they would kill me if I kept dragging their name down.
Yeah, and I believe them.
So I'm gonna, and I believe them. When the Carnage family says they're gonna kill you, believe
They're gonna
them.
kill
So
you.
they're gonna kill you. So
Yes, I love that. Okay,
Seymour,
this checks.
thank you. Yes, yes. I hope that you would enjoy that.
Yes, I'm going to
So
continue expanding his backstory for sure.
I say that we do. And with other villains, one-off villains
Oh,
throughout this show too.
absolutely.
I mean, and as far as I see it, like we're doing Disney a favor here.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't mention this in our first episode. I'm so sorry. This is a random tangent, but it's super relevant. They're
Yes.
talking about rebooting this show. Did you know that?
What? No.
Yeah. Apparently they started talking about it in like 2022 or something like that.
Oh
I think it's on the
shit.
Wikipedia page and like some of the other, yeah, wiki pages online. Maybe we'll come back and talk about that towards the end of our arc once we get
Nice.
to read more about it. But yes, just for all of those out there who
Wow.
were in love with this show growing up, a reboot might be coming to Disney Plus in the nearish future.
Wow. Yeah.
So we're doing them a
Cool.
favor right now,
You're
okay?
welcome.
You're welcome.
Free
So
publicity.
exactly. So, anyways, Seymour he's got this seaquarium now, and it becomes instantly famous, an instant popular tourist attraction in Cape Suzette. And it is advertised as the quote unquote wettest show on earth.
The
And
horrible
of course,
advertisement.
it kind of is
What
actually.
can I
Like
hate
me
it?
personally, I don't like going wet when I go places. So
Yeah.
I'm not going there. No,
No,
thank
thank
you.
you.
And yes, of course, like I said before, this is, I believe, in Cape Suzette, located in kind of a tropical area of Cape Suzette, right next to the ocean. So easy access for him to illegally get these animals to
Ah,
bring in.
yep.
But remember, Seymour, he cares about profit a whole lot more than user experience or customer experience or animal care, even more
Ah.
importantly. So the park, as popular as it was really just a collection of like rundown, ramshackle, like shantytown style
Oh
buildings with
no.
sparse aquatic exhibits kind of in between, ranging from just like your basic goldfish to trained seals, all
Oh,
sorts of stuff.
okay.
And in the middle of this seaquarium, there were three large water tanks that are kind of like interlinking, almost like a circus. So it's like a
Okay,
sea
yeah.
circus in ways. And they're in the middle, surrounded by a row of bleachers around it. So this is
Got
obviously
it.
like the big show, the big stage for the final act at the end of each day at the seaquarium.
Hmm.
And the focal point formed, of course, the center stage for circus-like exhibitions where we have two different types of animals. In one tank, we have an exhibition for rare tiger sharks. The second tank is the main performance tank. So there aren't any animals, permanently kept in there.
They
They
just get
bring
moved
animals
to
in and
it.
out.
Okay.
Exactly. And the third tank contained Seymour's main attraction.
Your favorite
My
attraction, perhaps?
favorite, yes, the fabulous jumping blue whale named Moby Dimple.
Great
Yeah,
writers.
for
Great
many reasons,
writers.
they couldn't call him Moby Dick, for many
Yeah.
reasons. And I have to stress again, this isn't just any whale. This isn't an orca. It's not a beluga. It's not a right whale. I know a lot more about whales than you may think I know, Grace. You have to
You have
know
to know
your
your enemy.
enemy. Know your
Keep
enemy.
your friends close and your enemies
It's
closer.
exactly. It's not one of the three smallest whales that exist in this world. No, it is literally the biggest animal that exists in human history, in
Uh-huh.
ever to be known to man, the largest
Mhm.
animal ever. This thing fits in the seaquarium
Yeah,
in
that's
a
my follow-up
tank.
question. How big is this
Exactly.
tank? The size of Cape
I
Suzette.
I guess that it is up to 100 feet big because the largest confirmed length of a blue whale is 98 feet. And
Wow,
obviously it
good for
needs
them.
another foot or two to like move a little
To
bit, to do like
shimmy.
a 30-point turnaround to do its tricks in this tank. Yes. Yes. So this, of course, the blue whale, the most majestic, most beautiful, literal largest animal known to man, is captive at the Seaquarium. And in its heyday, the Seaquarium used to hold shows, daily shows, morning and afternoon, even evening, hosted
Mm,
by Seymour himself in front of a sellout crowd in this performance area.
hmm.
And each show ended with an impressive grand finale, a 50-foot leap by Moby Dimple, the blue whale,
Okay.
through the fiery hoop of doom.
Oh no.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds as horrible as you think it does. And so, profitable as it was, Seymour Seaquarium did have its share of problems, as we obviously can see now.
Yeah.
Many of these, which could be chalked up to, cheap management practices of Seymour and his
Yep.
Carney-like ragtag team of
Okay.
employees, and many more of these problems could be attributed to the unhappiness of all of the animals in his care or his lack of care.
Hmm.
So, for instance, after several sold out shows with Moby Dimple, something began apparently to change in the whale for the better as well too.
Oh,
Not
okay.
only not only was this whale fed up with the mistreatment and the imprisonment in his holding tank and all of the abuse from being forced to do these tricks and being confined to this little space,
Uh-huh.
but whales are smart, man. Whales are really fucking smart. So
Very
this
smart.
dude, he wasn't just like going along to get along, he was scheming and creating a plan for escape, not attack yet,
Both.
for
Hell yeah.
escape.
I
Both,
support them
yes.
both.
Either way, do what you have to do, Moby Dimple. Be
Yes.
free,
Get out of
please.
here.
And so eventually, I have no idea how, but Moby does figure out how to do exactly that. He figures out how to get out and how
Oh,
to
good
escape.
boy.
And he does, exactly. Good boy. And for a brief moment, Moby, he feels freedom and peace as he
Oh
finds
no.
himself back in the ocean off the coast of Cape Suzette, swimming wild and free. But somehow, some way, Seymour, he's able to locate the whale, but he probably put a
No.
tracking freaking device in
Yeah,
all
yeah,
of the
for
animals that
sure.
he has, which is, anyways. So he always is managing to locate the whale, capture the whale, and return the whale to the prison cell,
No.
aka holding tank at the Seaquarium, where the pattern of abuse, neglect, and humiliation would always continue. But Moby Dimple stayed strong and persevered. He continued to make attempt after attempt
Ah,
to escape the horrible clutches of Seymour, constantly escaping from the Seaquarium,
ah, be
constantly getting
free.
out, being free, and unfortunately, constantly being recaptured by Seymour,
Damn.
being brought back
Well, I hate this
home
guy.
to jail. Yeah, he's an asshole. And so Seymour repeatedly going on the hunt for his runaway blue whale, which sounds ridiculous when you say it out loud. The runaway, largest animal to ever exist in the
Right. How
history
did
of
you lose this
mankind.
thing again
How did you lose this
exactly?
thing? This is weird. I don't think you like lose one. I think you misplace it. I don't know. It's like
Misplace it.
it's never
You
lost.
temporarily
Yeah.
misplace it.
Yeah. And so, yes, this happens repeatedly, and he repeatedly finds him in the nearby ocean. And although Moby Dimple was seamlessly found and returned to the Seaquarium numerous times, accusations soon did begin to surface against Seymour for mistreating his animals, and
Pretty,
suspicions about,
pretty stark
yeah,
accusations.
should
Pretty
be,
probably
yeah, kind of.
obvious.
Exactly. I was like, I think you only need to have your eyes open to see that. You don't need any like background information at all.
Yeah, you just
But
show up once.
yes, yeah, just be there and you'll see
Yeah.
it. So, yes, the suspicions about the businessman began to rise, eventually leading to everybody's biggest nightmare, an official government investigation.
Uh,
But more on that in a moment.
okay.
So suspicions of animal cruelty and fraudulent business activities, they became more evident to the public shortly after our favorite happenstance investigators, Baloo and Kit, caught wind of some of Seymour's shady activities.
Mm.
One afternoon, following a long morning of fishing, you know how they always do, they were doing it in your last
Yep.
episode. Kit and Blue, they're just chilling on the sea duck, on the seaplane in the middle of the ocean, on break, I guess they say, out fishing, catching their food for the day, I think.
Hmm.
And we see Baloo and them like start to pack up, and they're talking about how Baloo is trying to save up enough money to buy the seaplane for himself from Rebecca so that he doesn't have to work anymore. He wants to be his
Classic.
own boss. He wants to just be able to take the seaplane wherever he wants to and not be held down by Rebecca and her tight business
Mm.
acumen. So Baloo, he brings his reel in and everything and packs everything up, and they head back. He flies back to the docks at Hire for Hire.
Okay.
And when they get back, they see a massive line of customers stretched outside waiting to rent the sea dock.
Okay.
And Baloo, he's like, whoa, Rebecca, like, I don't like what's going on. You know, business is never this good. So what's happening? What's the deal? And Rebecca runs out and tells him that the customers are all gunning to collect a reward that was just posted throughout the city. And she holds a flyer for the reward in front of Kit and Baloo. And it
Mhm.
shows that it's for a missing blue whale of all things.
So
Like
he's getting
they
other
just
people to help him?
he is. He is now saying, listen,
Ah,
I've had to go out and find this thing too many times on my own. It's adding up a lot of money. I'm just going to ask the public now to do the job. I've got a
mm-mm.
seaquarium to mismanage.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was like, what do you have to do? Nothing.
Yeah. I have some animal cruelty to go commit. So
Yeah,
go
truly.
do that for me. This
Damn.
guy's a demon.
Come on,
So
people, don't help him.
I know, but they want the money. And here's the thing. So the rumors are small about the abuse at
Mm.
the sea aquarium at this point. I think most people are like, oh no, it's an aquarium. It's fine. Much like in the 90s with SeaWorld, people were like,
Right,
oh,
we were
it's
all
fine.
blind.
Like, exactly. They're taking care of it. So of course we'll help Seymour out. And also,
Mhm.
we know this guy kind of might have a shady backstory, and I don't
Yeah, we don't want
like
to fuck
maybe
it
I can get on his
up.
good side.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So Kit and Baloo, they immediately look at each other when they see this flyer and they recall that, hey, when we were just out fishing, we just so happened to see a nice big blue whale out there. And we just thought it was a beautiful, majestic whale.
Uh-huh.
But it did seem odd that it was so close to shore.
True.
Do you think maybe that was that whale? It had to be, right? And I will say too, you see them interacting with this whale while they're on their fishing trip.
Uh-huh.
I just didn't put it in the story because it's a lot of ridiculous stuff this whale is doing.
Uh-huh.
But
But it's very
it is
clear that
important
this
to
is a
note
trained whale.
exactly. It is a trained whale and it has an instant bond with Kit. Like Kit jumps in and is swimming with it.
Oh,
They're playing together.
it's my
It's
dream.
adorable. I know. Well, it's not mine, but it's
But
my
you know it's
dream to
mine.
watch you do this. Yes, I would love
Your
it for this to
Baloo
happen to
safely
you.
on the seaplane.
Exactly. Literally. While I'm like smiling at you down there having the time of your life. Like, you go, girl. You go, girl.
I'll be here.
So, yeah, I'll be right here ready to fly away if we need. So, so making the realization that, like, yeah, this has to be the same whale. And also Baloo being like, that reward money would be just what I need
Mm.
to buy the seaplane from Rebecca. And Kit also saying, oh, well, if we returned it to the Seaquarium, I could go visit him every day. It'd be awesome. I could go see him.
Is this about to
Again,
be the plot of
thinking,
Free Willy?
put a pin in that for the very end of the episode, Grace. Okay.
I
I'm
was
really,
I was sitting
I
trying to
was
think to
like,
be like, I've definitely seen that movie, but what
we've
exactly is
all
the plot?
put a pin in that because yes, hold that pin in. Right.
Put it away.
So put it away. So at this point, they're all like, holy shit, this is great. Let's go and let's go get this. Let's go find this. Or sorry, let's go to Seymour and tell him we know where his blue whale is. And it's hilarious because so Rebecca's like, whoa, wait, whoa, whoa, where are you guys going? You're on the clock. And
People will find it.
Baloo's like, we have 4 more minutes left of our break, ma'am. Bye. So they get back
Hell
on the
yeah.
plane and leave.
Workers'
But it's
rights.
hilarious. Exactly. Let's go. Let's unionize for these two employees. But it's hilarious because as they get back on the plane, one of the people in line is like, well, no, I'm getting on this plane too. Like, I want this reward. But they like lift the doors up while this dude, who I think he's a rhino, he's stepping on and he just like falls out and lands in the water. And again, I was like, holy shit, Rebecca, get the legal paperwork ready.
Liability.
You're getting sued.
So you
like it
can
happens right in
step
front of
on
her.
our dock without signing liability waivers.
Literally, like you can't even make an appointment without like
Yes.
not even confirm your appointment, but just like get a quote. You have to sign liability waivers for a quote on
From the
renting our
jump.
plane.
They're
Yes.
like, these liability waivers have nothing to do with me flying it. It's all, who's Baloo?
Stuff if it happens. This is Baloo. What do you mean I can't even get on the dock? This is all before I even get on the plane.
She's like,
Sign,
you'll
please.
learn.
Sign, please.
Sign here, initial here, initial here,
Yeah.
initial here. Thank you.
Yes. So they go to the sea aquarium. They're excited to tell Seymour that they've found his blue whale and that they are ready to collect this money from him. Of course, after they show him the whale.
Yeah.
And Seymour says this. He's like, you'll get your money after my whale performs tonight, even more specifically, he says. So it's not enough for you to just lead me to him. I've got to get him back. I've got to do the performance tonight. And then after that, you'll get your money.
All right. Some of this seems like it's on you, Seymour.
It is just quite a little bit. It all seems like it's on Seymour.
Sounds like he's trying to give them out of their money and not give reward money.
And what do we know about Seymour? He's a greedy son of a something. So, yeah. Oh, son of a bitch. He's a wolf, so we can say it, right?
Hey,
yeah, he literally is. So Baloo and Kit, they quickly realize that this wasn't the first time that this has happened because Seymour, he seems to like have an entire process and plan in place and
Red
ready to
flag.
go to recapture Moby. Exactly. Like, oh, this is not your first rodeo. He's got a bag packed already. He's got equipment that he's like, all
A
right, let me
go
get this loaded
bag.
up. Literally, he's got a bug out bag for when this shit happens. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
So
Got some questions.
several.
Yeah,
And
from
so
Blue.
do Baloo and Kit, clearly, because Seymour sees that they're quite hesitant when he is like ready to go immediately and packing shit up in their plane.
Getting a
And
harpoon.
well,
No, it is
okay,
Moby Dick after all.
how many pins do you have on you, Grace?
A harpoon-sized fin. I'm shooting that pin.
Put a harpoon pin in that
I
for
mean, it's
just
called,
like
he's
five
named Moby
seconds.
Dimple. It's gonna come up.
It's gonna happen, yes. And Seymour is Captain Ahab.
Yep.
I guess I am Ishmael because I am the one telling the story. So, so
Call me
see,
Ishmael. Oh, I
call
will
me.
now.
Thank you. So Alexis Ishmael Bird. So rolls off the tongue.
Oh yeah.
Seymour, again, seeing the hesitation in Blue and Kit's eyes, he explains to them that, oh, it's fine. Moby, he's just really young. He gets loose all the time. It just happens. You know how kids are, right, Blue? Like looking at
He
Kit, like
gets
this little
loose
motherfucker. He gets
from my
loose,
aquarium
yeah.
onto land,
Yes.
back into water.
On into the water because he just doesn't know how dangerous the wild is for him. It's such a big world, and he's a little kid. I'm just trying to teach him, and get him ready for the world. And Kit is even more skeptical because Kit has just played with this whale in the
Yeah.
water. So he's like, well, Moby looked pretty freaking happy to me. Like he
Yeah.
looked very happy and safe when I played with him. And Seymour, he gives a sharp look at Kit, like, don't believe your lying eyes, Kit. Believe me, I'm the expert. Okay. Whatever you saw, bullshit. Me, I'm gonna tell you the
Wow,
truth. I would never
gaslighting this
lie to you.
child.
Hella gaslighting, lighting him
Damn.
on fire and gasoline right now. So Baloo and Kit, they follow Seymour to his helicopter because Seymour is just going to follow them out there. I
Oh
guess he had
yeah.
to load stuff up on their plane for getting the whale, but he's got his own helicopter. Again, black
Get it
market, air
out.
piracy days. He knows he's got connections.
True.
He stockpiles and stuff.
True.
And then they show even more skepticism in this red wolf when they see that he has illegal artillery attached to the helicopter that he plans to use to recapture Moby Dimple. Specifically, as you said, Grace, a harpoon. But not just any harpoon. I guess
Oh
Disney
no.
wanted some ad revenue from this because this is
Oh
a
God.
Smith and Wesson oil
No.
double-barreled harpoon,
This
to
was
which I
at the
was like,
peak of the NRA days.
literally, the 90s. Oh my God. I don't know if Wayne LaPierre was in charge of the NRA back then, but he was giving them some money. But he was like, hey, say our name.
Holy
Say,
shit.
say it.
That is
I don't
pretty
know.
fucking wild,
Isn't
actually.
it crazy? Like they actually say Smith and Wesson. Like I don't think you could pay. Well, actually, no, you probably could pay them now too, but it's just like super unethical. Like I don't think you could pay a writer nowadays to put the actual brand name of an actual gun maker
Yeah, I
in
feel
an
like
episode of a
there's
cartoon. I
a la
can't think of
like
that.
the smoking rules in like visual
Yeah,
entertainment now. I feel like there might be some similar ones around like weapons and guns
weapons.
kind
Yeah,
of
and
thing. And yeah,
they
again,
like
this was,
have to look like toy guns now in
yeah,
cartoons. Yeah,
wow, that's fucking crazy. Yeah, again,
yeah.
the NRA was really at its peak in its
They
90s, and
were,
this is a great
and they were
example.
busy,
Holy shit.
truly. And it's not just that, like, they don't engrave Smith and Wesson on the harpoon. It's not like it's
Like
not
hard to
a
see.
show don't tell thing. It's a tell don't show. Like they just specifically say, and I think it's Kit even who says, "Isn't that a Smith and Wesson oil double-barreled harpoon?" So this 12-year-old little bear is like
It's like,
name
wow,
dropping
I know what
this
that
arms
is.
dealer. Yeah.
I'm
You
blown
don't
away.
love to see it. You don't love it, but
We hate
it's
to
what
see
it
it
is.
happen.
You hate to see it
So 90s
naturally.
also peak product placement in things. So
Yeah,
like
yeah. Because as much as I hate to see it, I was like, God, that is a nice harpoon. That's pretty
Alexis,
nice. Sorry. No, I'm Ishmael. No, you don't like these
no, no,
things.
no. You don't want to
Yes.
chase your white whale. It's not a good
Mhm.
thing to do. It doesn't work out.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work for him in the end. So yeah,
Wow, that's
Seymour,
fucking
he
bonkers.
assures them it is bonkers. And it gets more bonkers because Seymour is like, whoa, 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 like, no, it's not illegal. Because Kit calls him out, like, those things are illegal, aren't they? You can't use that. And Seymour's
The
like,
next
Kid,
line was written by the
no,
NRA. It's not
literally,
illegal.
it's illegal. No, it's just an antique collectible from the museum at the Sea Aquarium. And look,
This is
even if
literally lines directly from the lobbying packet of 1990.
just wait, it gets better because after that he's like, and even if it was like an actual thing and not a collectible, it's only illegal when you use it to hunt an animal, and we're not hunting, are
Oh my
we? We're just
God.
going to recapture my animal,
Oh
so
my
we're good.
God. I'm
Yeah,
so
literally, like
upset.
straight out of the playbook, straight out of the lobbyist playbook, right?
Wow, holy shit. Again, they
Yeah.
guess they we're gonna look at the credits for this episode. Guest writer is gonna be a lobbyist from
Wayne
NRA.
Pierre.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh God.
Wow,
So
grim.
yes, again, skeptical, even more skeptical,
Yep.
but with good intentions, both with, the taste of freedom for Baloo and,
Yeah.
wavering, but still somewhat of a belief that Kit would be able to visit the whale at the Seaquarium.
Yeah.
Good-hearted intentions. They're like, all right, hop in your helicopter. We'll show you where we last saw Moby Dimple. Let's go. So they get there to the same spot in the ocean. And just like before, they still see Moby playfully swimming around just as he was
Yeah.
earlier
Just
that
happy.
morning, loving life, happy, free. And Kit and Baloo, they land the seaplane nearby and they lure Moby out into the open. Kit starts, I guess he does know his name at this point, but I don't remember what he says. Maybe he starts splashing or something, but Moby sees him and comes over and they
Oh.
start playing together and they're having fun. And Seymour, he was able before the plane got close to the whale. Seymour was able to hide his helicopter on top of a cliff behind a bunch of leaves and
Hmm.
shrubbery so that he could get a good angle of where to
Oh
shoot the
God.
harpoon without actually being spotted.
Okay.
And as soon as the bears lure the whale out of the water, or cause him to kind of breach a little bit more and be out in the open, easy aim for
Ah.
Seymour. Seymour takes off in the helicopter, bursting out from behind these leaves in the shrubbery. Immediately, Moby sees him and is terrified, and he dives
Oh.
back into the water and tries to run away. But Seymour, he's skilled with this stuff. He had a lot of days as an air pirate, as we wildly speculate, and he's had many a times to go
Yep.
back out and catch Moby from the
Recapture
wild
once.
again.
Yep.
Exactly. So he takes a shot with the harpoon at the whale. And honestly, Grace, when they shoot the harpoon, my jaw dropped because I was like, they're not going to show this, are they? Please, please do not show this. Thank God they don't. They
Okay.
don't.
I
Harpoon
thought you were
doesn't
about to say
go.
they did.
I know, because I really was on the. You think that they are. It looks like until the
It's
last second,
about
you think
to.
that it's
Holy
exactly. You
shit.
think this harpoon's about to pierce him. No, instead it's like a yo-yo thing where it just wraps around his tail, or like a lasso is probably a better
Yeah,
word. It
yeah.
lassos around his tail, pulls tight, and then
Oh my God.
Seymour can fly the helicopter, and he's like dragging Moby through the
For a
water.
second.
But Moby's big,
Ah,
so at first Moby's dragging Seymour, and the helicopter's kind of going crazy. And I
yeah,
was like, yes,
shaking.
kill him. I
Take
mean,
them down.
take him
I
down. That's
mean,
it.
I
I mean,
mean,
yeah, no,
what?
just everybody should be happy and alive and healthy. No, what? Anyways,
Who said
so,
that?
but eventually Moby tires from swimming so fiercely through the water and being chased and dragging this
Ah,
helicopter. And he literally just kind of like peckers out, like he just floats to the top and looks like he's like falling asleep or
oh
fainting
my
because he's just
God.
exhausted. And so at that point, Seymour starts to carry Moby through the water, dragging him back towards the seaquarium. And on his way out, he thanks the bears, Kit and Baloo, for their help. And he tosses them 2 tickets to the seaquarium so that they could collect their reward money after the show and see Moby Dimple in action.
Mhm.
Feeling a bit sour in the stomach after witnessing this very violent and horrific event.
Yes, capturing.
Yes, and it was not easy, obviously. There was a lot of splashing, and Moby Dimple, like I said, was clearly scared when he
Oh,
saw the helicopter fly off the cliff.
yes.
Baloo, he's like frowning, like, oh,
Did we mess up?
well, literally, like, we
Uh,
may have just that. was not great. We
Oops.
don't love to
Yeah.
see it, but I guess we may as well use these
Go to the
tickets
show.
to get our reward money so at
Yeah.
least something good can come out of this horrible thing
Yeah.
that we will
Clear
hopefully
that
never
guilty
talk
conscience
about
with
again.
money.
However you can, I guess. Yep.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Kit is less and then, like I'm saying, Blue is clearly not happy. Like literally the tone I had there is kind of like the tone he's giving off.
Yeah,
Kit
he's like,
is
oh
even
fuck.
less happy.
Yeah.
Exactly. Kit's like, what the fuck was that?
The
What the
fuck did I just
hell?
see? I've seen a
Yeah.
lot of shit and I'm 12, and that was the most
And
fucked
that
up.
that was the worst. Yeah. So
Damn, put me
that
back on the streets. They're better than this.
yeah, I would much rather be a sea or street urchin
Put me
than
back,
be
or
complicit
yeah,
to whatever the fuck that was.
yeah, into this illegal activity.
Yeah. And again, yeah, I mean like Kit really made a bond with Moby, so like he is really feeling it hard.
Yeah.
So that evening, they're like, okay, well, we got to go to the show because we need that
Yeah.
money. So they venture to the sea aquarium to enjoy as best they can Moby's closing act.
Mhm.
And again, this is where Moby Dimple is known to leap more than 50 feet in the air through the flaming hoop of doom. And so they're sitting in the bleachers. Seymour, he's in his blue captain suit. He's getting the crowd riled up. He's warming up everybody, getting them cheering and introducing Moby Dimple to the crowd. And he lights the hoop of doom on fire. And Kit is immediately like, oh, hell no, 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 no.
Yeah.
This cannot go well.
The
Like
red
he is
flags
very
continue.
worried. They continue. The red flags are on fire right now.
Yeah.
They are even redder.
Yeah, red from the flames.
Exactly. And so he believes, like in his heart of hearts, that Moby is absolutely going to get injured during this performance.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so Seymour gets the show started. And Moby Dimple, he starts doing these other little tricks leading up to the big finale. And eventually he does a jump through this hoop that is on fire and he splashes water as well in the process. And it just makes a mess everywhere. Everyone's covered in the splash of water. But Kit catches that the tail of the whale did nick the actual flame and is now on fire. It gets singed as he makes his way back into the water. And so you hear Moby like making the like pained whale noise as he's swimming through the tank, and you just see like steam coming out from the
Oh,
tank and like following him through the water because he's
yeah.
very badly burnt.
Oh my God.
And I think the crowd might slightly notice because you kind of hear like oh,
Yeah,
and
like this
then
didn't seem
cheering and stuff. Yeah, they're
right.
like, ooh, that was that a malfunction? Was that supposed to happen?
Yeah, we don't know what to do, so we're gonna clap, I
And they're like, yay,
guess.
everybody, the sign says applause, and we just
Yeah,
do what we're
exactly.
told. So after the show, Kit and Baloo, they go behind stage, both to get their money and also though to confront Seymour a bit about like
Yes, the
all
fuck they
this
just saw.
mistreatment and exactly. But Seymour, he brushes it off. He's like, ah, kid, that happens all the time. Moby, he always burns his tail. He'll heal in no time. He'll be
You're
fine,
not
which
making it better.
that's a lot worse, sir. Yes.
Yeah. You
That's
should
not
not have
making it
said
better.
that.
Like, wait, can you repeat that? Record, say that one more time,
How many
please.
times does this happen?
How many times?
Always? Got it.
Every day? Okay, cool.
Yeah, perfect. Every performance.
Got it. So he hands them their reward money that they've earned, likely in an attempt to like get them the fuck out of his face and also to
Yes.
keep them quiet. Like, okay, yeah, it's not a good look. Shut up if I give you this money, right? Get out of
Yeah.
here, please. Thank you. But Baloo and Kit, they can't just leave it at that. They can't just leave. They're like, what the hell, dude? No, no, no. Like, thank you for the money, but we can't not address this.
Yeah.
And they're also like following Seymour through other areas of the park as they're talking with him about this.
Yeah.
And they see some of the other animal exhibits and displays. And they just start to notice a disturbing pattern that exists among all of the exhibits, not just at Moby Dimples.
Mm.
At every opportunity, like I said before, Seymour, he is skirting safety and health concerns of the animals in favor for profit or cutting corners in the amusement park's budget. So they see fish that are forced to swim and like live in these very unclean and untreated water tanks. And Seymour is like, you know how much money it costs to clean that stuff, or like what chemicals cost these
Oh
days?
my God.
and they see seals like laying out without any shade in their tanks, just like
Oh.
literally melting. I think Kit says, like, you could fry an egg on one of these guys. They're so hot and they're like panting and like dying of heat
Yeah.
exhaustion. And then, like I said before, buildings all over the property. It's like ramshackle, like shantytown type stuff. So, like, stuff is like looking like it's about to fall
Oh
down.
my
It's
God.
shoddily constructed. This is just a hazard for patrons and for animals.
Yep.
So Kit is trying to reason with Seymour, like, dude, like you got to do something. You need to get shade for these seals or like clean the tanks. Like,
Yeah.
come on, like minor
Basics.
adjustments to help these animals. Exactly. But Seymour, he's absolutely enraged and pissed off that some little kid, some
Would
little
tell him what to
street
do.
urchin, some orphan would try
An
to tell him
orphan.
how to run his business.
Ah,
So he orders the bears, Baloo, and Kit to leave and to be happy that he even gave them their reward money.
damn.
So they left the park, and Baloo quickly, shook off Seymour's unpleasantness. Like, well, that guy's an asshole, but hey, we're
Got
free
our
now,
money.
Kit. We got our money. Exactly. He's
Hmm.
like fanning it out, like, don't you smell that, man? That's just the air of freedom. And Kit is like, yeah, well, I think it stinks. I'm like, go
Yeah,
off,
kid.
Kit. Go off.
Hell
Because
yeah.
Kit now he channels wisdom from the late great United States Supreme Court Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr.
Does he now?
He does, just so
Tell me
happens
more.
to. I believe he reads constitutional law books in his spare time. He essentially tells Baloo that the price of our freedom came at the cost of Moby's freedom,
Oh,
aka Moby's
oh,
freedom ended where ours began. I was like, go off, Kit. This is a
damn.
classical libertarian we have on our hands. Let's
Kid. Fuck
go.
him
A
up.
left-wing libertarian. Fuck him up.
Damn. Fuck him
Fuck him
up, kid. Fuck him up.
So Baloo concedes that the circumstances are less than ideal here, but he reminded
Blue
Kit
didn't
that
understand a word that kid said and was just like, he has a lot of authority in his voice. I'm gonna listen to this kid.
yeah, exactly.
He's fired up.
Yeah, you're probably right.
You're
But the
probably right.
seaplane.
Seaplane, but you said a lot of fancy words, and I don't want to look stupid in front of you,
Yeah,
so I guess I'll agree.
exactly. So I'll say sea duck. Yeah. No, Baloo, he does. He takes this lesson to heart. And he's like, you're right. It's less than ideal. But Seymour's not going to listen to us anyway. He just kicked us out of his park and he clearly doesn't like us.
Mm.
But then Baloo pauses for a second. And like we said, remember, Baloo, he's friends with Shere Khan. He's been
The
around, he's got
hookups.
connections all over the place.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah.
So Baloo is like, I do know someone that Seymour has to listen to.
Hell
So,
yeah.
seeing that they lack the resources to rescue the animals and bring down Seymour's cruel operations on their own, Kit and Baloo decide to call in backup from, like I said before, everybody's worst nightmare, the Alphabet Boys, the federal government, someone that Seymour has to listen to.
Hell yeah.
And
Shut it
specifically,
down. Get health and
shut this
safety in here.
bullshit down. So, what agency does Baloo call? He calls the agency concerned with the happiness of oceanic oddities, aka ACHU.
I was trying to think of what it was as you were saying it, and I lost the
Yeah,
plot.
it's too
I
fast,
was like, what
exactly.
was
Because there's
it?
like there's the prepositions in
Yeah,
there that
I
throw
got
you off.
lost. But a
Exactly.
chew. Amazing.
So Achu, bless you, gazoon tight. So Achu sends one of their finest, most respectable agents to inspect the Seaquarium property and their overall operations. And this is an animal that you very much will love, Grace, an otter by the name, I know one of your favorites, by the name of Inspector Ike Burrow. And
Spectre
you're gonna
Burrow.
love you're gonna love this character even more. Not only is his last name the name of Cincinnati Bengals quarterback, which I know you don't care about that too
No,
much,
I knew
but
that from the stop for sure. Yep, absolutely. I knew that for sure.
but, but do you want to guess who Inspector Ike Burrow is voiced by, Grace?
Is it our boy Jim?
It's our boy Jim Cumming.
Ah! Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. I can see
So
it with a
yeah,
little otter.
He's on the Rolodex. He's like, yeah, call me up if you have any
Truly.
side characters that you need voices for. I'm
I'm
around.
ready literally all the time.
Oh, yes. So
Hell
Inspector
yeah.
Burrow, this guy, he's a loyal inspector, a loyal federal bureaucrat. He plays by the book. He takes his time. He's methodological,
Hell
and he
yeah.
takes his role as a public servant very seriously.
Hell yeah.
He's got a very discerning and discriminating nature about him, and that he is carefully critiquing his subjects and his targets of investigation at all times and leaving very
Yeah.
little way for small talk and pleasantries.
Hell
Someone will
yeah.
try to like crack a little joke around him and he just keeps it moving. He's like, yeah, no, we
Inspector
don't have
Burrow
time to
doesn't give
laugh
a
here.
fuck about
Does
the
not
weather
give a
today.
fuck.
He is here to shut it down.
He's like, oh, small talk, never heard of her. Citation.
I don't give a shit how your kids are doing. Get them out of here.
Get him out of here. Citation. So, so
Having minors
Inspector
present. Citation.
Citation. Not opening the door for me when I got out of the car. Citation.
Citation. Trying to open the door for me to butter me up. Citation.
Citation. I'm my own man. Thank you very much.
I'm my own otter. God damn it.
Yes.
Wow, I fucking love
So
it.
Inspector Burrow, he's a classy guy. He's wearing a three-piece suit, of course, without pants, because you guys see his cute little otter legs walking
Duh.
around everywhere and his tail flapping around.
Oh my God.
And he's got on like a red vest with a navy tie and a light blue, a light blue shirt and a navy jacket, I think, over top, something along those lines.
Mhm.
And he has very round frame glasses, a
Of course he
very
does.
thick, bushy mustache that
Of course
would
he
put like
does.
Ron Swanson to shame. And of course, a brown bowler hat, like the hats Charlie Chaplin would wear.
Oh my God, a cutie
Like one of
pie.
those. Like I love this guy. Like he looks like a prime inspector, truly. On a
Yes.
kind of like Inspector Gadget meets Sherlock Holmes, if you will.
Amazing. Yes.
So he arrived to the Seaquarium early one morning, accompanied by Kit and Baloo, ready to conduct this surprise inspection upon all of these reports of animal cruelty that were brought to Etchu, mostly by Kit and Baloo.
Mhm.
There's a lot of rhyming there. That was
Yeah,
unintentional.
there was.
I'm here
That's a
for
hard
it,
sentence.
though.
Good job.
Yeah. While this inspection interrupted Seymour's AM money counting session, as he's just in his office counting through
Oh
his
my God.
piles of cash, he pleasantly welcomed Burrow to the park, graciously touring him around the premises, happy
Yeah.
to show him around. Because, like I said, this guy's cunning and clever. He proved himself many times on the open seas and skies, I guess, whichever one the air pirate uses more.
Yep.
But he's greedy. So that's the only reason why he couldn't hang. So Baloo and Kit think that they're finally going to take Seymour down, but they don't know what all Seymour has up his cunning sleeves because he's able to immediately whip his carnies into shape. They're more loyal than these bears. The carnies are more loyal than the bears could have predicted. Because at the snap of a finger, Seymour orders them kind of like sneakily or like sends a signal out for all the carnies to jump into action and quickly cover up all traces of
They've
any
drilled
abuse.
this before.
They have this. This is an annual inspection, and this is the process every single year when they get it.
Yep.
They real quick, like clean the tanks real quick or hide the ones that are the worst, or they, kind of like spray down the seals with water real quick just before the inspector gets there to make it look like they're well hydrated and doing fine. They have all the tricks up their sleeves to skirt, or I should say, to trick this investigator from essentially shutting them down. Yeah, from the truth. And so even though, like I said, Burrow, he's committed to the job and he's really good at his job, Seymour is just better at being a fraudster. So exactly, he's way better at lying than Burrow is.
It's all he's known his whole life.
So even Burrow is tricked into believing that the park was being run as well as any park of this type possibly could be. He did. So Burrow, he awards the park with flying colors on its inspection. Again, its annual inspection, and says that they are now good to operate for the entire rest of the year, for the entire next year. So for 365 days, y'all are good. I'm not coming back till then or whenever after. Exactly.
Damn.
And after he does that, he scolds Baloo and Kit, literally like yelling at them for wasting his precious time on a fake tip.
Damn.
Yeah, so this went like shit. That did not
Yeah,
work. This
this
is bad.
was
And
the
Blue
opposite
and
of
Kit,
successful.
literally, Blue and Kit are saying the same thing. Like, well, that 100% backfired.
Yeah.
And Blue is like, okay, well, my last ditch effort here is to maybe return the reward money in exchange for Dimple's freedom. So Blue, he goes to Seymour
Boy.
and he makes this offer, which is cute. How cute of Blue.
Yeah.
Seymour scoffs at him immediately. Seymour's like, are you kidding me? Like, this whale brings in 10 times over that much money every
Yeah.
single
And he's
day.
like, and you
Like,
just fucking snitched on me. You walked around with the
literally.
inspector moments
Yes,
ago.
literally. Like, why would
I
I give
saw
him
who the
to
snitch was. It was you.
it was you. All right. So Seymour half-heartedly thanks the Bears for helping him find the lost whale and for helping him pass his annual inspection. Actually, he's like, thanks for that, guys. But my
Very.
gratitude ends there. Get the hell out of my park, and you're never allowed to come back in again. So he bans
Damn.
them straight up. And so now they're feeling like shit. Now we don't
Hmm.
have any options. So what does Baloo do typically, as we found out from your last episode, when he feels disrespected and out of options?
He
He
goes
gets
sad.
violent.
Oh, I was
Gets
gonna say
violent.
he is sad and fishing, or he punches someone.
Yeah, he looks like he's getting ready to square up with this dude. I think he like rolls up his sleeves and he like cocks his fists a little bit.
Cool.
And like Seymour gets in his face too. But thankfully, Kit kind of breaks it up by like running through them and pushing them away from each other, saying
Yeah, it's probably a
he's
good
not
call.
going anywhere. Yeah. So I don't think he was like really trying to stop the fight, but he was at least trying to get by because he said he's not going anywhere until he can at least say goodbye to Moby Dimple.
Okay.
So he runs to Moby's tank and Baloo follows him. And Seymour's like, fuck it, like, fine. But if
Yeah.
anything happens to you guys on the way there or over there, I'm not responsible. And then he kind of like coyly walks away,
Yep.
which
Great.
means that he's got to
This
fuck with them.
place filled with
Exactly.
carnies who are loyal to the person paying them.
Exactly.
Great.
And you know, a
Safe.
lot of OSHA violations in the buildings. It's like you step on
Yep.
a nail, that's on you, kid. Sorry.
Yep.
So
That's sick.
the bears, they go over to Moby's tank and they stand on the little like platform thing that's hanging over the tank and they
Uh-huh.
call out Moby and say their final goodbyes to the whale. But Seymour, this is like a house of horrors here, apparently.
Oh
He's got
no.
some lever that can like move this platform from tank to
Oh
tank.
no.
So he pulls the lever and the platform shifts from being over the tank that Moby Dimple is in.
To the tiger
And it
sharks.
flies over exactly to the tank holding the tiger sharks. And then Seymour presses a button and the platform releases from underneath Baloo and Kit,
Mm.
and they fall right into the shark infested tank. And so the sharks obviously are loving all of this splashing, like, ooh, you want to play? Let's go play. So then they start swimming
Yeah, they
around,
just want to
Kit and
play.
Baloo.
They're
Yeah,
not
I
going
don't
to
think,
eat them. I'm tired of this anti-shark
I know,
propaganda.
truly, because I was just going to say, tiger sharks aren't even violent, are they? I mean, unless like prompted to be violent,
Yeah,
right?
and
Like,
even
I'm not that big in it.
most
You're the
shark
tiger
bites
expert here, but, or
are
the shark
also
expert here.
not actually trying to eat you. It's because sharks don't have other ways to explore the world. They don't have
Yeah.
hands. They don't have like scent where they can be like, I mean, they can smell things, but like
Yeah.
they, use the kind of like their location and that kind of stuff. But the way they can explore what things are is by taste in their mouths. So when
Tasting.
sharks bite, they're
Yeah.
just trying to figure out what you are. They're not trying to eat
Yeah.
you. They're
Exactly. They're
saying,
just giving
what
you a
is
little
this thing?
kiss.
Yes, they're saying,
Yeah.
what is this thing in
How,
my area? This is the only
how,
way I know how to tell what it is.
yeah.
You come into my world and expect me
I
not
was
to
going to
want
say,
to know what
that's
you
on
are.
you. That's
Yeah.
on you for getting bit, not on the shark. Yeah.
And you can swim with tiger sharks and it's fine.
Exactly.
I love
Exactly.
tiger
So,
sharks. They're so
yeah.
beautiful.
So,
I want to swim with
yeah.
them.
Long time listeners of Saturday Morning Mysteries, you guys know, like, we are very pro shark on this podcast.
Yes. We
We
have
have caped for
Jabberjaw.
them over and over. Yeah. Even before Jabberjaw, Totally
True.
Spies, all sorts of shows.
Yes.
We have come to the
We
shark's
are
defense
the
literally at
most
every
pro shark.
corner. We
Yep.
are. We are. This is a pro shark podcast. So join us if you are pro shark. Shark
And if you're
2024.
and if you're anti-shark, stop feeding into the shark propaganda.
Yes, learn from us. We're here to show you the way. The way,
Exactly.
yes. So yeah, these bears though, they're not quite up to where we are yet. They're afraid of these sharks, which I mean, like, okay, if I fell in a shark pit, I would at least initially be a little scared, but then I would be like, okay, calm down. They're only gonna attack you if you like scare them or,
And I would say in this scenario
spark their
too, I would be
curiosities.
like, okay, these sharks are probably starved because this guy doesn't take care of them.
Because Seymour,
And
yep,
or like instead of firing people, does he just give the sharks other carnies
people.
as
Yeah,
food? Do we just seem like food because they are fed other animals? Like
yeah.
this is a particular scenario in which the conditioning of the sharks would make me nervous due to
You
the
know,
abuse.
Firing is expensive. There's a lot of
There's
paperwork that goes
so
into it.
HR.
You have to have exit interviews. You have to
Oh my
pay people
God.
for that stuff. Like sometimes you got to get
Severance
consultants in
sometimes.
to like independent third parties to do some of the things.
I
And
know.
food for sharks is also expensive.
It's so
So
expensive. You know
like
what?
two birds, one stone, two
Yeah.
birds, one shark, one meal,
Two
I
birds,
guess.
one wolf. I don't know. Two
One
sharks, one
wolf,
wolf
something. I don't know, but two somethings and one something of else to save money for
equals
Seymour.
these sharks are used to either starving or eating animals.
Yes. So
And it's not their fault.
it's not. We're not blaming the sharks. Exactly. This is
Yeah.
all Seymour's fault. We're just
It's
saying
this
they're
bad
living the
person's
life that they
fault.
unfortunately are subjected to. Yes.
Exactly.
So Kit and Baloo, they probably recognize this too in reality. They're not just like blindly scared of sharks. They're scared of
Yes.
Seymour sharks because they know that these
Yes.
are abused sharks and starved sharks. So they begin screaming and splashing furiously to try to stay away from these tiger
Not what you
sharks.
should
And
do with a
now,
shark ever.
not at all.
Never do that with a
Because the
shark.
sharks, that perimeter closes on Baloo and Kit. The sharks are just getting closer
Yeah.
and closer, circling them the more that they're splashing. And so the screams are loud enough, though, thankfully, for Moby Dimple to hear them in the next tank over. So Moby starts slamming his head, ramming his big, mighty whale head into the side of the tank until he eventually bursts through his and into the adjoining shark tank. So thankfully, it's not like he like squeezes out and plops onto the ground.
Right. Just
Like the
bursts through because
tanks
they're
are
all
all
connected, like you
connected.
said.
Exactly.
Key to the plot
And
here.
yes, and it scares the other sharks away. And Moby Dimple is able to lift Kit and Blue out of that tank and allow them to escape to safety. And appreciative of how selfless Moby was, I don't know why that was hard to say, Baloo commits at this point to saving the whale, just like the whale saved them.
Oh, good.
So he decides to take his sea duck savings and the reward money, all of it together. They go back to their house. He gets his like
Uh-huh.
suitcase, his briefcase full of savings. He throws the reward money in there too. And he decides to buy what is called the Acme Portable Whale Lift,
Of course, it's
which
Acme.
it's always Acme, which I think is actually a real company. Did you know that?
Really?
I think it is.
Which came
They might
first,
be
the
just calling
actual
out like the joke or the actual company. I don't know.
interesting.
Maybe I'll do more research on that because that's something that I've always meant to like read more about. But yeah, I'm pretty
Huh.
sure Acme might be at one point was a legitimate company, which I'm like,
Amazing.
huh.
How'd
Did the
that go?
cartoons put them out of business, or did the
Right.
company force cartoons to stop
What
naming
happened
them? I don't
here?
know. What's
Yeah.
the history there? Anyways, this portable whale lift essentially is like two little resting posts that are affixed onto the sea duck, and they
Uh-huh.
have like these little, I guess, inverted arches that Moby can just rest
Okay,
on
yeah, it's almost
top
like a little
of the sea
hammock.
duck. Like a hammock, literally, yes,
Cool.
that they can then just fly him out of there and back into the ocean.
Cool.
But this is just the beginning of their plan to capture or to return Moby to the wild, as the much harder part is to actually sneak into the largest animal and or sneak, sorry, the largest animal in modern
Yes.
existence out of this little amusement park. So
Yes.
Baloo and Kit, they decide to run a sting operation. They're like,
Hell
we got
yeah.
to do it from the inside. And
Oh,
they just thought, yeah, they're like, we're going to turn this place inside out from the inside.
okay.
So they dress up in costumes. Baloo, he disguises himself as a delivery man, and
Okay.
Kit dresses up as a seal by just putting like
That's so
a
cute.
cardboard cone on his nose,
That's
and
so
he's wearing
precious.
like a onesie. It is pretty
But also so
cute.
funny because like
Yeah,
Blue is a delivery man. He delivers for air cargo service.
he does. And now that you say that, I think all that he does is put like a fake mustache on because he's already in a delivery man like outfit. Like I'm pretty sure he
Outfit.
just puts on a fake mustache. That's it. He
Great, but
maybe
okay.
changes his hat, but yeah, that's
Oh, a
it.
cute ass
Hey,
seal though.
all of his money is went into getting the whale lift
True.
thing.
They
So he's
couldn't
like, I
get two
don't
seal
really need a
costumes.
costume. Yeah, exactly. So he dresses up like this, and they go to the seaquarium to drop off the seal there, behind it at the back entry. And they
Mhm.
meet with some carnies in the back there saying, like, hey, hurry up, we got to get this seal in there before the show starts. So the carnies, they let him in. And once the two are inside the premises, they split up so that Baloo can go get the seaplane and bring it
Mm,
closer. And Kit can go to the tank and start to draw Moby out so that he can jump onto the seaplane just in time to escape. And they
okay.
plan to meet back up at the whale tank in 10 minutes. So that's how
Okay.
long they have to make this work. But as Kit is trying to like squirm his way to Moby's tank, Seymour sees him
Oh no.
and he confuses him actually with an actual seal. So this costume is a little bit better than we thought. Or
Okay.
Seymour is
Okay.
just on something,
I
probably a
mean,
little
yeah.
column A, little column B. Yeah.
Exactly.
So Seymour sees him and he's like, what the hell is this seal doing here? We got a show to do. And he actually throws Kit into the seal tank so that he can
Uh-oh.
get started with the performance.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
And he rushes off to now start the big exhibition. Seymour
It's also
does.
because all of his seals look a little fucked up, so he like
Yeah.
couldn't tell this wasn't a real seal. They're
He's
all
like,
kind of
man,
chinky.
oh, yeah. It's like
Well, you're the
he's
back of
starting
the
to
lineup
think,
today.
and it's funny because he does actually go last in line. Now that you say that, actually, but
Yep.
that's such a good point, and it probably has Seymour reconsidering, like, man, maybe I should spend a little bit of money because this thing is looking bad.
This is gonna scare the
Scare the
patrons this time.
audience. Yeah. And so, yeah, the show begins and it starts with a showing from the seals.
Yeah.
And like you said, the audience isn't quite feeling it. Like there are some points, I believe, where they start booing and kind of like sounding confused because it
Yeah.
appears that one of the seals is not quite like the others and is not properly trained or exciting to
Doing
watch.
great. Yeah.
He's not catching the balls the same way, like
He's
the big
drowning
beach
almost
balls or
every time he
whatever.
goes underwater.
Literally, he's like gurgling. Seals don't tend to do that. It's like something is off with that seal. And Seymour notices this too. He's like, oh God, what is wrong with that thing? Like, what the hell? And eventually it becomes clear. I think a part of Kit's costume falls off or something.
Classic.
And it is now obvious to Seymour that this is just Kit in disguise. So Kit
Yeah.
makes a run for it. And Seymour sends his carny goons, whatever, to chase after and capture the kid. But Kit is able to get away. And so he runs and dives directly, Kit does, into Moby Dimple's tank and he draws
Mm.
him out of the water. And Kit instructs Moby Dimples to jump just as Baloo starts to fly the sea duck over the sea aquarium. And again,
Cool.
Moby Dimple, he can jump 50 feet in the air. So
Easy.
Baloo just has to fly down with about, 50 or so feet below him.
Mm-hmm.
And they jump right on and they're able to fly away. I guess Kit is like strapping him onto the thing as they're flying. Kit's
Yeah.
a badass, man. This kid, he's
Kit
like
is.
hopping from planes to planes all the time. He's just
Exactly.
like
He's got his little air cloud
freewheeling it up there.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. So he runs and dives, he runs and gets him tied on to the top of the plane and they fly on out of there.
Okay.
And Seymour, he sees this and he's pissed off. He's like,
Yep.
oh, hell no. They did not just steal my final act. I need to get these motherfuckers. So he rushes to his helicopter to chase them down. And yeah, like we literally just see the bright yellow sea duck seaplane flying over Cape Suzette with a fucking massive blue whale on top of it. Not at all subtle, just going all through the
This is ours
skies.
now.
This is ours. Like, don't question it,
Or they're like,
anybody.
an entire audience just saw us do this. Why are we gonna try
Yeah.
and hide it?
There's no point. Yeah.
Yeah,
You literally cannot hide a blue whale.
exactly.
It's impossible. So Seymour, he's hot on their tails. And, these bears, they're getting further away. Sorry. And Seymour's got fewer and fewer options to get Moby Dimples to safety. I don't know why it's getting hard for me to say the word Moby. Something about that name is just like weird. I don't know.
You said it too many
Anyway,
times.
it is. It's starting to sound weird to me. And so they've got fewer and fewer options to get Moby to safety and to freedom. And so Baloo quickly hatches an idea for Seymour to get caught in the act, to get finally arrested and taken into custody for all of his bad deeds. So he decides to fly the Sea Duck, again with Moby right on top, around the locale of Inspector Burrow. Because you see, remember, Baloo was able to make like a direct call to Burrow to come and do this investigation. So I believe these two, they're good friends. They go back or something, which is also why Burrow was so mad at him for leading him on this goose hunt and giving him fake tips, etc. And that's why I think Baloo knows exactly where this guy lives. So they're flying the Sea Duck right around his, it's like a high-rise apartment with a nice terrace on it. And Inspector Burrow, he's out there. He's having his morning tea or afternoon tea, reading the newspaper, and just enjoying the weather. And he notices the Sea Duck flying recklessly a little bit off in the distance. And so he sees that and he's like, what? No. Brushes it off and goes back to reading
in the sky.
I'm crazy. I didn't get enough sleep last night. I had that stupid inspection I had to do for no reason. So he goes back to reading his paper until he then sees Seymour's helicopter erratically flying by too. And at this point, he's like, okay, what the fuck is going on? So he throws his newspaper down and he runs to like a little, those little like telescopes or whatever that some people have on whatever their patios and shit. He runs over to that and he looks through it and he takes a closer look at what the hell is actually going on. And he sees that Seymour is preparing to launch a shot from his Smith & Wesson oil double-barreled harpoon. And it's aimed right at Moby Dimples and the Sea Duck.
Yeah.
And so Ike Burrow is not only shocked.
Inspector.
Inspector. You're right. Oh my God. Him. Where is my respect? I'm so sorry, Ike. Inspector. I'm so sorry. Inspector Ike Burrow. He is like, how the hell does he have this object? That gun is illegal. That harpoon is illegal. And not only is it illegal to have, it's illegal to use in the way that I clearly see he's about to use it.
Yes.
So Inspector Burrow rushes off of his terrace and out of his apartment to gather the troops and immediately arrest Seymour.
Damn.
Seymour, he decides not to launch the harpoon, I guess because he is still out in the open, and he said it himself, if I'm using it for hunting, then it's illegal. And it's like, well, bro, it's pretty clear. You're flying over the open skies of Cape Suzette with this
someone's
thing.
Gonna see this.
Exactly. So I guess he reels it in a little bit and he decides not to launch it quite yet, and instead continues chasing Kit and Baloo. And they outfly him, I guess, so he eventually has some catching up to do. And when he does, the bears, they're landed on the water, lounging, fishing, acting like nothing's happened. There's no whale on top of their plane. They've removed the whale lift thing, the little hammock for them. Looks like a normal day. They're chilling. They're like, us? Who? Whale? I've never even heard of a whale. Whale army. Well, all is whale that has ended well. What of this whale, do you say, Seymour? And Seymour's like, cut the shit and give me my whale. Do not play dumb with me. And mere seconds later, a Chew agents swoop in by boat, sirens blaring.
Oh, yeah.
Seymour is like, Inspector Burrow, I demand you arrest Baloo and Kit for stealing my whale and order that they return this whale to me. But much to Seymour's shock and surprise, he can't outswindle himself, he's been outswindled. He can't outswindle Burrow. The jig is up. The inspector is like, I'm making an arrest, Seymour. I'm arresting you, okay?
Hell yeah.
Hands behind your back. And he orders the agents to get off the boat or to get off their ship, whatever, and immediately arrest him. for possession of the illegal harpoon.
Hell yeah.
And at this point,
Inspector Burrow's got some hookups.
he
A
does.
couple
And at
different
this point,
agencies here.
I'm like, you know what? Al Capone wasn't taken down for racketeering. He was taken down for tax stuff. But once you
Exactly.
got him and had to call people
You
to
got him,
testify against
baby.
him, everything came out and you got him on all the other shit.
Hell
The exact
yeah.
same case here. You may
Burrow,
not have gotten
Inspector
Seymour for
Burrows
the
fucking
animal
knows.
cruelty, but yeah, we're gonna bring Seymour in court. People are gonna have
We're,
to explain how he got that harpoon, and I'm sure
yes,
they're
these
gonna have
illegal
other stories.
weapons.
Exactly, and then the chips will all fall. Seymour's house of cards is coming down.
Oh, yeah.
So while Inspector Burrow is making this arrest, he tells Seymour that he knew he's trying to cover his ass here a little bit. Sorry, I just
He
laughed.
knew something was up.
He knew something fishy was going on. He was like, I knew something was up with
Come
you as soon
on.
as I met you. And I'm like, you sure about that, Inspector?
Because
You
you
sure
wrote him a
about
glowing
that?
review.
Literally, you were yelling at Blue for the false tip.
Yeah.
Literally.
He was just in character. They've been trying to take this guy
Literally.
down for a while.
So the Achu
Sure
ship,
shit.
God, then takes off while Seymour is in cuffs, being held back and restrained by agents. And just once the agents get far enough away, Kit yells out to Moby Dimples that the coast is clear. And we then see what appeared to just be a little island off in the distance near the sea duck that even had a cute little palm tree in it. It
Uh-huh.
pops out of the water and reveals itself to just be Moby Dimple's
He was
back in disguise.
hiding.
He was hiding. It's so cute. He's playing hide and go seek with
Oh
the
my
federal agents. It was
God.
adorable.
That's why we love him.
Exactly. And so at that point, Moby Dimples, he then swims and plays and is happy in the wide open ocean, feeling footloose or fin loose, rather fancy and free. And Kit and Baloo just smile and they're happy. They look at Moby being free. They close up the doors to the Sea Duck and they make their way back to the docks of Higher for Hire. And as they're flying the Sea Duck off into the sunset, Kit happily tells Baloo and us that Moby Dimples now has the whole ocean to play in as Moby joyfully splashes his way through the water.
Oh,
The end.
oh. I want to cut
Mhm.
to though, like the aquarium after this arrest, where
Yeah.
why can I never remember the name of like the firearms agency? The federal
The ATF,
yeah, ATF
alcohol,
like
tobacco, and
storming
firearms. Yeah.
the like ATF and Achu
Yeah.
storming the aquarium, like tackling the carnies. Achu is like freeing all the tiger sharks. Like beneath
Yes.
every aquarium, like is a trap door filled with more
Yeah.
arms.
It's like, oh God, they're like carrying all of them out into like evidence, like massive trucks that store evidence. They start
Exactly.
carrying all the
Other
animals
trucks have
out.
tanks to get the animals into
Massive,
better
yeah,
aquarium or
shut
the
down.
wild. Just
Exactly.
like
Honestly,
sirens going over like the aquarium.
probably like they're coming in by helicopter on ropes, like being roped down into the
Don
aquarium.
Carnage,
Yeah.
because he knows that this cousin is going to try and snitch on the family, has already called the ATF to snitch first on his cousin who just got
Yes,
arrested to like keep
exactly.
his family's name clear.
And to also get his cousin officially off the chessboard. Like, nice.
Exactly.
Done with him for good now.
Right. They actually were part of the like people who called in the tips to like
Exactly.
start the investigation
The
before
tips came
Baloo
from
even called.
Baloo and the Carnage
The
family.
Carnage family. They were like, finally get him out of here.
Hmm.
Yep.
So on that note, two little postscript things
Yes.
that I wrote down here. The first one is that it relates directly to what you're saying now.
Yes.
And I pulled this from one of those wiki pages.
Oh yeah.
So we assume that all of the sea aquarium animals are like released back into the wild after this.
Uh-huh.
But apparently, again, according to the wiki page, the sea aquarium makes another appearance and appears to still be in operation in an episode of Goof Troop. So not in this show, but in
Oh.
Goof Troop, which obviously, like at this time, all of these shows are in like the same fictional universe because
Yeah.
they're all pulling from like DuckTales and all this other stuff, and
Yeah.
they all show up together in different shows. Like I think Don Carnage is in the new Darkwing Duck show that came out, or DuckTales. I forget, one of the two. And he's
Oh,
like in
interesting.
Fowl, apparently. He's considered to be a member of Fowl, even though he's not a bird.
Oh,
You don't have to be a bird to be in Fowl, but
yeah.
whatever. So yeah,
Yeah, I
like
saw a
it's all a
crossover.
shared universe. Exactly. So apparently Seymour's Seymour Seaquarium is still open, and Goof Troop came out 6 years after this. I went down a rabbit hole. I was like, okay, so
Oh,
what?
is it still like in shambles?
So I don't know. I didn't watch it. I maybe I'll go find the episode and watch it, but it just says that like it's mentioned, it's still there, but it appears to be under new management.
Okay, that would
So
make sense
we
that
hope and
like
assume it is under new and more
they
responsible
call
management,
in
which
like an actual
yeah,
aquarium to come set up
yeah. Or
shop,
like
take care of the
conservation
animals.
authority. Yeah,
Yes. Right, like some of these
yeah,
animals have grown up in abusive captivity.
yeah,
They won't survive in the wild, but they just need a nicer way to
yeah,
survive here.
yeah, exactly. So for what it's worth,
Wow.
Seymour Seaquarium is still open in the Disney universe, I suppose. It wasn't totally shut
Mm,
down, but Seymour appears to not have anything
it's
to
out
do
of
with it
here.
anymore, which is good.
Great.
And then the other note, that thing that I told you to unpin a long time ago about Free
Yes.
Willy,
Yes.
I would like to note that this episode came out three
Before.
years before Free Willy.
Oh shit.
And so at this point, that's exactly what I said. I was like, oh shit, Free Willy, you
Hmm.
have some explaining to
Got some
do.
explaining to do.
But I looked into it, and the writer of Free Willy apparently also was one of the writers or maybe the director or something of The Goonies. And he
Oh, uh-huh.
claims, I don't think that he was like attacked about it or anything. Like, what do you have to say about allegations that you stole this idea from an episode of TaleSpin?
But we're gonna attack him with it.
But we're going to attack him. So, yes, I'll look up your name so we can actually directly attack you, sir. I'm joking. But he claims that he actually came up with the idea of Free Willy while he was working on The Goonies in 1984. So we
Okay.
don't know who to believe. Maybe he knew someone that worked for Disney. Actually, was the Goonies Disney? I
I
can't
feel like
remember.
Free
It might
Willy
have
might have been
been.
Disney, to be honest.
I can't remember. I've only seen that movie like one
Yeah,
time, but
same.
it's crazy. I rewatched the trailer of it after writing my script to
Uh-huh.
be like, how similar is it? And based on the trailer, it's a shot for shot remake of this episode, but like an hour longer.
I thought you honestly were about to say at the end, like there was a dock and Kit was standing on it and Moby flew over Kit at the very end, like the
That
like
happens at one
poster.
part. That does happen at one part. You see Moby fly over him like that. Yes, at one part. I forget when
It's
exactly,
too
but I remember
much.
thinking that and be like, holy fuck, dude, that's not good for Free Willy. This is a bad look.
This is making it
Um,
worse.
Yeah, it's making it a lot
Wow.
worse. But yeah, I guess, the writer for Free Willy was like, damn, we can't make it a blue whale though, because that's impossible. I
That
guess
they
we'll do an orca instead.
Yeah, they don't really have blue whales in aquariums
Yeah, and they're
anyways.
too big.
Too
You can't fit
big.
that in there. Yeah, and you can't like
Wow.
you like parade that through the streets to get it into an aquarium. You imagine like a massive
You
semi truck?
can't
Like what? You can't. I
dig a
don't
whole
know.
street. Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
So
Wow.
yes,
The
and so
drama.
those are my two postscript notes about yeah,
Wow.
IP drama. Who did it
I know who
first?
did
We
it
don't know.
first. Let's see
Yeah.
those notes from 1985,
Yeah,
1984, whoever
I'd
you
be
are who created
interested.
Free Willy.
Yeah. Because I don't know if
Wow.
I believe you.
Hmm,
Yeah,
yeah, I
I
need some
don't
receipts
know.
on that.
But yeah,
Wow,
so
great job.
sorry that was thank you, but sorry that it was it discussed literally one of our least favorite things, two of
Yes.
my least favorite things, animal cruelty and whales.
Yeah,
So,
it was hard for
but it's
you. It
weird.
was half
I
hard
don't
for
know.
me.
I don't know how I feel about it because, like, yeah, do I like whales? No, but I'm rooting for them though. Obviously, I never
But
want
I
to
don't
see
want to see them be
anyone.
abused.
Never want to see any animal abuse, especially
Wow.
whales, because goddamn, are they amazing? Which is why I'm afraid of them. I'm only afraid of things that amaze me. So there you go.
Ah, amazing.
So
Incredible. Great job.
thank you, thank you. But next week, I know you're going to give us yet another amazing
Mhm.
story from the wonderful show TaleSpin. So until then, Grace, who should they tell about this podcast?
I think you should tell um someone who works at a zoo or an aquarium. Like
Mm,
I don't know what they're called, just like an animal keeper. I don't know what exactly their title would be.
Yeah, I don't know about the aquarium.
Yeah, but like
That's
someone, yeah,
cool.
who like goes in and directly works with the animals themselves, make
Hmm.
sure they're healthy, gives them food, make sure their
Yeah.
habitat is good and safe. And ones who work at like a good pro conservation
Yes.
place that's doing very good for this world and not mistreating the animals. So go
Hmm.
tell someone who works in that line of work.
Yeah,
And then who else should they
indeed.
tell?
And so then after that, you should tell the actual like aquarium itself, but like one of the ones that is good with conservation and
Yes.
everything, like Grace said. So find a really good one that does great work.
Yes.
Um, let's see. Oh God, there's one in Florida that I went to that like brings in injured turtles and
Oh,
rehabilitates them until they can go back to sea. Swear to God, turtles are like my favorite animal, especially
see?
after going there. Like go to one of those
Yes,
places,
the
like a
Monterey Bay
marine biology.
Aquarium.
Yeah. So
Yes,
go there, tell them because honestly, it's probably an episode of a show like this that inspired some of those people that are doing that work to actually get into that
exactly.
work because this was like this was early messaging. Like people today say, oh, cartoons or so, they talk about too much social stuff. Like, boom, this is from
This is
1990.
happening.
And this is an environmental awareness episode right
Yeah,
here and like a
wild to be
conservation
funded,
episode.
an episode funded by the NRA, though. A wild time to be alive.
What a
We'll use
crossover
this
that we
money for
did not
good.
think. I never thought that like this crossover was not on my bingo card for us to be covering this year. The NRA meets wildlife conservation. In
Well,
some ways,
they just didn't get told what
no,
the
I don't
episode
see
would
it.
be about. They
Exactly.
needed the funds. Disney had the deal, and they were like,
Yep.
but we get final rights. The writers were like, we get final rights on what happens this episode. And they were like, yeah, yeah,
Yep.
sure. You have to include
Sure.
these
Why
8 lines, though. They were like,
Yes.
no problem.
Got it.
Wink.
Cool. Smith
Yeah.
and Wesson, we just got to say it 3 times. Done. Cool.
Easy. Perfect.
Yep. Wonderful. Well,
Wow.
until next week, we'll maybe talk about more product placement and Disney
Probably.
shows.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on. So just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.